Welcome to Espresso Jams, short, concentrated, delicious conversations about business, life, and more. And now, here's your host, Joe Max.
Hello, we're here with another edition of Espresso Jams. And today I have the honor of having John Nieuwenburg with us. And John is a business coach. He is also a mentor and coach of mine. And I just have a lot of respect for John. He's got a lot of years in the business coaching arena, lots of experience. And with that, let me introduce you to John Nieuwenburg.
Good morning. Nice to be here, Joe.
It's great to have you on the show, John. We were talking about challenges that businesses have, that business owners
Yeah,
have. And we thought we might discuss three of those big challenges. And
typically
let's get into three, and then maybe we'll take them one by one.
awesome. So typically the kinds of things that the business owners I work with are challenged by are time, team, money. So time for them, often they're thinking or saying, I've got too much to do and not enough time to do it, or I can't get everything done, or particularly if I don't do it, it won't get done. Team
Mm.
issues is hiring the right team members, getting them to work at the level you need with the quality you need and getting the culture you want. And then money issues got two dimensions to it. One side of the money issue is I need better accounting, reporting, KPIs. And the other side of money, and the one, of course, that's most common, is I need more money. I need better sales and marketing.
So let's tackle the first one first,
Right,
which is time.
right,
How does it happen that an entrepreneur finds his time to be so limited?
right. You know, it's not a question of time being limited. It's a question of focus. The hard thing about managing your time, especially for entrepreneurs, we're all used to seeing silver pennies everywhere, right? Shiny baubles everywhere. That we often get distracted, and as a result, we try to run around with too many priorities. And so, if you've got 150 priorities, how many priorities do you truly have? You don't
Mm.
have any, and that's the paradox. You can't have but two or three at any given time. And then the second thing about it is many business owners work in the reverse paradigm of what they should be doing. So they let their calendar fill up with whatever is the demands being placed on them instead of starting from a proactive top-down way of thinking about time, which is to say, what are the true priorities that I have? What results do I need to get? What activity gets those results, how much of that activity, and then how do I map my time so it matches those priorities. So the conundrum is, would you get on an airplane if you knew the pilot didn't have a navigation plan? Of
Right.
course you wouldn't. I sometimes even use a navigation plan to drive home just so in my cars, just so I know if there's going to be traffic accidents and
Mm.
that kind of thing. And yet so many of us don't have a map, a navigation plan of how we spend our time and how we map that against the true priorities we have. Um, we get caught up in all the to-dos, and so many people feel like they're just juggling too many balls, or they're playing
Yeah.
whack-a-mole.
There's always someone knocking on the door, ringing your phone, or presenting you with a crisis, isn't there?
Yes.
So
And
how do we control that, or limit that, or eliminate that to
yeah,
gain control of
so
our time?
it starts with the perspective that you can't control. No one can demand my time unless I'm willing to give it to them. So amongst things, there's turn off. If your phone isn't on do not disturb 100% of the time, your phone operates you. The tail's wagging the dog, not the other way around.
Mhm.
So when you make yourself accessible, do it on your own terms. And so for many people who feel like they need to be available by phone or text or social, whatever, I urge everyone to take an approach of only being available for 30 minutes to, respond to people every 2 hours. So you can theoretically have a voicemail that sounds, I respond to all calls at 8, 10, noon, 2, and 4. I'll respond at the next available time. And what that does is a couple of things. One is you get 90 minutes free of interruption, so you can do real work. Even the team that works around you are not permitted to interrupt. Number two is you get to triage the interruptions. And what I mean by that is you might have gotten 10 emails and 3 texts and 4 notifications on. social. And if you responded to them each in their turn and sort of yanking your chain, that's disrupting all the quality work you're doing. And instead, you'd find out, oh man, I had 10 things I could have responded to, but only 3 mattered. And so you get to triage, you get to sort out and say, well, these are the 3, because you get to see it all at one time. These are the 3 that matter. I'm going to respond to these 3, and that's it.
So from a 20,000-foot view, it's really about taking control of your time and managing
Yeah.
your time, not letting your calendar manage you or those interruptions manage you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you wanted to do a little homework on this, look up a thing called default diary or time blocking. That's the concept of what I'm
Time
talking about.
blocking. Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
blocking, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so let's get into the next one. The next one,
Team.
team.
Yeah, so as a business owner, let me tease or prompt you a little bit. If you could start your business again from scratch, from day one, and you could rehire all of your team, which ones would you rehire? I've asked this of many, many business owners, and the typical answer is about 50%. And
50.
so think about that. Yeah, if half your team aren't delivering at the level you need, what is that costing you in terms of your life? What's that costing in terms of the results you're getting in the business, your customers, suppliers, etc.? And so why are you tolerating this 50% or half your team that aren't living up to the standards that you've set? Or if I can put it a different way, which again is going to be provocative, you don't get the culture you want, you get the culture you deserve.
Mm.
Is your culture the one you would prefer to have if you could actually define it? And for most business owners, they find that the culture is kind of a byproduct of everything they do. They don't proactively set out to define and then hold everyone accountable to that culture.
That sounds like the key word, to be proactive in creating the culture you want. So, might I take a blank piece of paper and start writing down concepts or values of a workplace that I want to work in, even though I'm the owner, but and then work to create that?
Yeah, definitely you do. In the beginning, the first one you do, I'd invite you to start with a list that you would use as a draft that you would introduce to your team. And over the course of an hour, a couple of hours together, you would settle on and agree, this is the culture we're going to live by.
Mm.
And from that point forward, as new members are added to the team, they don't get to choose, they get to decide if they wish to be part of that culture or not. But the first stage, you got to get everyone's buy-in.
Right. So I found that when I was managing a restaurant, I wanted to create a certain culture in that restaurant. And I hired more for culture fit
Yeah,
than for skills and abilities, because
yeah,
almost anyone can learn how
yeah,
to cook at a certain level or
yeah,
serve tables or bus a table. But if the
yeah.
culture's not there,
Doesn't
it's not.
matter. Yeah, and in fact, that one of the truisms about businesses is that most people don't get fired for skills; they get fired for attitude,
Hmm.
meaning they're not living with, observing, and upholding the culture.
I remember seeing an advertisement for an airline years ago, and it said, "We don't teach our people to be nice. We
Yes,
simply hire nice people."
yes,
And I
that's a
thought
great way to think of it.
that was
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah. John, I wish we had more time. 10 minutes flies by so quick. So if I were to just say on the money aspect that we're not going to have time to dive into, um,
Right.
I don't know what to say about that in 20 seconds.
Well, let me. The answer for all three, time, team, and money, uh, effectively is the same thing. If you uphold this motto or understand the wisdom of the following three things. So systems run your business, people run your systems, you lead your people. And if you get those three things right, you're going to have a successful business. Um, Many business owners depend so much on their people, and as people come and go, so does the well-being, the welfare of the business. Whereas if you have systems, uh, it doesn't matter who the people are as long as they fit the right culture. Or let me put it just real quick, one little anecdote. How do they get those French fries to taste the same? Whether they're in Moscow, your town, or in Hong Kong, the French fries are made by a 16-year-old, and the parents of that 16-year-old can't get him or her to clean their bedroom. How do they do that? They have great systems. This is how we do it. Here's the recipe. We do it time and again exactly the same way.
Yeah, I think that's great. So, John, how would someone get in touch with you if they wanted to know more about what you do?
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Joe. It's real easy. You can either send an email, john@w5coaching.com, or you can just simply book into my calendar if you go to the following website, www.timewithjohn.com. Timewithjohn.com. That'll hook you into my calendar.
That's great. And that is a fantastic offer and very generous. And I do appreciate that. And I'm sure the listeners do. And I would encourage the listeners to get in touch with John. If you own a business and you think you might want some help, John's a great guy to talk with and very insightful. Very good, John. I sure appreciate you being on the show today.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Have a great day now.
Thanks.